It was okay, but the guys didn't want to work on their game. They didn't want to work on their game. I'm good as a...
Hey guys, this is Dominique Wilkins.
And this is Sean Kemp.
This is Gary Payton.
Hey, this is Pau Gasol.
NBA fans, what's up? This is Vince Carter here.
Hey, what's up? This is Matt Barnes. If you're an old school NBA fan like I am, make sure you check out the Basketball Time Machine with my man Sean David.
Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Basketball Time Machine. My name's Sean David, and I welcome you to your weekly dose of old school NBA basketball. Not too long ago, I had an episode where new school players were hating on the old school NBA. And yeah, I personally obviously had a problem with that. So I thought, okay, it would be nice to also show you the other way around. I mean, honestly, even though I'm a huge old school fan, obviously old school players also say negative things about today's NBA. My personal opinion follows at the end. But before we start with that, let me ask you guys for a small favor. If you enjoy the content, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. All right, let's do it. And the first place opinion that I want to take a look at is from Shaquille O'Neal, who obviously is a TV analyst and watches a lot of today's NBA. But he has a very strict and straightforward opinion about today's NBA. Let's take a look.
I think the NBA has become like too sensitive and political.
Oh, yes, very, very sensitive, very soft, very political. But, you know, and I hate this term, but people say this is the era we live in. So I guess we have to accept it. One thing I will not accept is okay play being looked at as great play. I ain't letting that shit slide ever. You know, I've been through the era of Mike, Charles, Malone, Stockton, all these great guys, so I know what greatness looks like. I like to tell people jokingly that I am the reason that big guys do not want to play in the paint anymore.
I hate it. I dislike it. I was just at Michael Jordan's 60th birthday party. He pulled me to the side. And you know, we talked about that for 30 straight minutes.
Because back in the day, you guys...
You played every game.
There's no rest.
We want to play every single game. We couldn't wait to get out there on the court. Mm-hmm. And it's about your ego, your passion, your love for the game. It's about those fans who, like you said, paid their hard-earned money to watch you play this game of basketball. And then we're getting paid to play something that we love.
Sure.
I mean, you know, so
it was, you know what, coaching and watching NBA transition to a different space.
Yeah.
It was okay, but the guys didn't want to work on their game. They didn't want to work on their game. I'm good as I don't want to work on no post move. I'm shooting top. I said, you never know what position. Be ready for the moment. Anything can happen in the game. So it's more almost like a daycare. You got to babysit these guys to get them to do something they're getting paid to do. I'm like, are you serious? So basically, when you're assistant coach, they want to keep you there for 8 to 10 hours, but for what? Ain't nothing. They don't want to work out. I want to sit there and watch the same guy, same film. You can play, everybody play the same. East Coast play the West Coast once back and forth, but most of the time you playing the teams in the East 4 or 5 times. Once you see them, you didn't see them. You don't need to watch them 6 or 7 times. And that's why we said about scout. I'm going to scout this guy 8 times. I mean, and hope you get better. But they don't want to get better. They happy at the moment. I ain't never seen so many guys never want to get better.
Different time, definitely.
They getting the money.
Just because Dirk is 7 feet tall and he's a great shooter, just because Kevin Durant is 7 foot and he's a great shooter, that don't mean all you other 7 foot dummies should be out there shooting.
But it's interesting. I mean, I think if you take a look at today's environment, I mean, it's very much, you know, rest, recover, you know, workload. You know, there's not this pressure to play every game. You know, back in the 90s, I remember I was in Detroit and, you know, I was leading the team in points, rebounds, assists, you know, steals, minutes, everything. And I remember one day I strained something in a game and I sat out of practice. And my teammate, Rick Mahorn, was like calling me soft for not practicing. And so, you know, and I went back, I mean, we joke or whatever, but like there was an expectation that you play. And now the pendulum has swung so far the other way that one could say we're overly cautious.
Good morning, Dominique. You gonna be okay? You sound a little emotional. You sound a little sensitive.
Oh, yeah.
You sound like
I am sensitive.
the athletes of today. And by the way, let me just tell you something. I didn't call them wussies, and I didn't call them soft. Stephen A's an adult. He can speak for himself. So the point I was making, Greeny, yesterday, it wasn't necessarily about the players and about how they perform. Greatness is going to translate era. Julio Jones, Aaron Donald, they can play in any era. Same as LeBron James, same as Kevin Durant. That's going to translate in any era. But let's not act like in order to be that great player and or to be that champion, the obstacles have changed a lot. Here are a couple of terms that I hear now that I didn't used to hear, Dominique. Things like load management, no two-a-days, less Oklahoma drills, less padded practices, things like that. That's what the current player is able to do.
More of a finesse game. It's more of, small ball. Which personally I don't really care much for. I like kind of smash mouth, old school basketball because that's what I grew up watching. You know what I mean? And I also think it's much less physical. Much less physical. Some of the flagrant fouls that I see called nowadays is just makes me nauseous. You can't touch a guy without it being a flagrant foul.
Is there a way to ever reverse that, you think?
I don't know. Kids might be a little too sensitive for that nowadays.
Does he have a point here?
Well, he has a point, but the game has changed. When I first came into the NBA in 1988, you had the bad boy Pistons and Joe Dumars and Isiah and Dennis Rodman and all those guys, and the Celtics. It was a game where there was no real freedom of movement. And when you drove to the basket, guys made you pay. There wasn't many free layups, especially in playoff series. And there was nobody helping you up off the ground.
There's not that many great centers. And I'd be Michael Jordan in this era.
You have guys standing out there heaving up threes that's really not three-point shooters.
What I look at when I see stuff like that is that you've gone too far as a league. It's one thing to do those things to kind of facilitate better offensive play. It's another thing entirely, like Kobe Bryant alluded to, where you have some of these flagrant fouls that are just hard fouls, when guys are getting ejected because, oh my goodness, they see a tussle and they react and their big toe steps over the line and automatically that's a suspension.
Look at some of the three-point shooting from the big guys we got going in the NBA today. They don't have good numbers. We don't have any 7-foot guys shooting 45% from three. But if you have a Shaquille O'Neal, a Moses Malone, Charles Barkley, or Andre Drummond, or DeMarcus Cousins, if you don't let us post up and get the other team in foul trouble or draw the double, you just don't know how to coach.
We were coming to the game, and there was no way we were going to play against you. You weren't going to play for 45 minutes and have 2 fouls. It just wasn't going to happen. You weren't going to play the game for 45, 40. The best players now very rarely get in foul trouble. And when they do get in foul trouble, I very rarely see a point guard come down and say, oh, see, Webb's got 3 fouls. I know I can get a basket off him because he don't want to get up that, he want to pick up that 4th. They never go back at him. So consequently, the strategies of the game, the offense, the way the offense are being run, it's just totally different. So I think the chess that we used to play in basketball, we don't play chess anymore. We just play checkers.
So, as I promised you at the beginning of the video, I will give you my personal take right now. So, the first thing you gotta know is if you would have told me 35 years ago that there will be a time where I really dislike the NBA, I would have called you crazy. The NBA was like the most important thing to me, not only because I grew up with the NBA, but because I love the sport so much, and the NBA simply gave me so much joy, so much passion. It was just, as I said, one of the most important things in my life. And as you probably guessed, yes, I dislike today's NBA, but the one thing you have to understand is it's not like I enjoy disliking today's NBA. I would love to love today's NBA. It actually hurts that I can't enjoy today's NBA. And I'm 100% sure that there are millions, of people around the world who feel the same way. It's not like we enjoy disliking the NBA. We actually want it to be good, but it just isn't. The product, the NBA, is nothing in comparison to what it was back in the day. So all the arguments, all the cases that the players had in this video, I 100% agree. And I'm praying that it will change someday, that I can enjoy the sport that I grew up with. Anyway, that was my personal take. I would like to know what you guys think. Post it in the comments below. And thanks for watching. Please subscribe to the channel, like the video if you enjoyed the content, and I'll see you next time on the Basketball Time Machine.